If you do not believe in luck, then today you will definitely reconsider your opinion. I will show you amazing examples of how people managed to avoid danger when it seemed almost unreal. Let's go.
You will never get into such a situation because I wish you good luck.
It is always important to know how to use a thing before it gets into your hands. The TV presenter was very lucky because when the woman pointed the nail gun at herself, the audience managed to tell her about it and no one was injured. Everyone is really happy. Sometimes people are in a hurry. So, for example, this woman was riding in an elevator with the doors open and decided to take a chance and get off on the floor she needed. Despite the fact that bears are not always aggressive towards people, it is better not to anger this predator. I do not know how this truck flew off the road and hovered over the abyss literally by a thread. Imagine the driver's surprise when the cab was almost flying into the abyss and suddenly the rear wheels caught on an obstacle. Surely, the man's emotions were off the scale. In early September 2013, severe flooding occurred throughout the state of Colorado. Then hundreds of people were missing and thousands of residents had to be evacuated from the affected areas. This video was shot during that period. Here motorcyclist Michael Henao is trying to get through the consequences of a flash flood, but alas without much success. At some point, the current just takes his bike away. And Michael has to get out on land without auxiliary equipment. At Formula 1 races, cars reach speeds of up to 300 km per hour, so any mistake can be fatal. For Keke Rosberg, such a mistake turned out to be luck. His car turned 360 degrees, and the driver did not even lose his place in the race. Just some ballet on the track. This case was recorded on a surveillance camera. 2 children in the background were born for the second time that day. They were lucky that the stranger next to them turned out to be a real hero with a quick reaction. He turned around and saw an uncontrolled car flying straight towards the kids. In a split second, the man made a decision, managed to grab both children in his arms and jump aside with them, at the same time, making an unimaginable somersault back at the very last moment. At a motorcycle race in France, one of the riders lost control on a turn and an accident occurred. Jacob Cornfield managed to jump over the opponent's motorcycle. What a stroke of luck. Apparently, the house was demolished in this video. A man in a green t-shirt was showing that he needed to pick up something just under the overhanging bucket, and it could have ended very badly if he had been standing half a meter closer. It was at the moment when the representative of the stronger sex came up. The bucket came off, which happens extremely rarely, but the guy remained even without scratches. Well, 50 centimeters in this case turned out to be the price of life. A crevice in a glacier is a very insidious phenomenon that is sometimes not so easy to notice. Only skiers and avid travelers know how big these ice traps are and how a person can end up in them. As a rule, such stories do not end well, but the case of Jamie Mueller turned out to be an exception. One day this guy was skiing on the mountain slopes in the Swiss village of Zermatt, filming his descent on camera. It would seem that nothing unusual is a simple video from a ski resort. Everything went according to plan until Jamie fell into nowhere and the screen was enveloped in ominous darkness. When he came to himself, the skier looked around. He was at the very bottom of an ice cave and not only miraculously survived the fall, he also managed to capture it all on his own camera. Just imagine, Jamie fell to a depth of almost 20 meters and did not get a scratch and did not panic for a second. The recording shows how calmly he talks to the rescue service and then admires how damn lucky he is. Everyone would like such self-control. That's a really lightning fast reaction. The girl was going to cross the roadway on a bicycle. The man reacted instantly. In this video, the truck driver turned too sharply and his load overbalanced sideways and almost crushed the motorcyclist. It may seem to you that the guy on the bike wasn't even scared, but when you review it, you can see how he rolled the moped a meter back, which may have saved his life. I would have run away, but self-control and patience in this case is the most correct solution. This story happened when a group of friends were relaxing on the lake and suddenly a bear appeared. Fortunately, people behaved calmly, they didn't even move. And the bear just walked by. Mountaineering seems to be an exciting activity, but it is a rather risky hobby. In the following frames, a terrible thing happened. A layer of ice collapsed under the climber. He was lucky enough to secure the cable a few seconds before. Two men were standing off the road and talking when suddenly a minibus crashed into a nearby car. The man standing on the left was lucky, he ran away in time, but the other was thrown hard by 3 meters. But judging by the fact that he immediately calmly got to his feet, he did not have serious damage. Apparently the car pushed him more than hit him. This story took place in South Africa on the coast of the settlement of Ormiston. It is located near the Needle Cape of the southernmost part of the African continent. Johan Dodgeter was engaged in spearfishing and filmed the whole process on camera when a huge white shark swam a couple of meters away from him. The diver, of course, knew how dangerous she was and immediately panicked. On the video, you can even hear his screams of horror right under the water. Indeed, it is the white shark that is credited with most attacks on people, so Johan was on the verge of death at that moment. In these shots worthy of the cult thriller Jaws, you can see how a diver is trying to drive away a predator with a spearfishing rifle. The shark, in turn, ignores the threats and abruptly turns right in the direction of Johan, swimming up to him at arm's length. The guy continues to scream and wield a gun, and at the very last moment, the shark finally retreats. By some miracle, the diver manages to surface and return to the boat. Today he remembers that incident as the most shocking in his life, and thanks to modern technology, he will be able not only to tell his grandchildren about it, but also to share with them the filming of that fateful moment. From the very beginning of this video, it is difficult to get rid of a bad feeling. It seems as if this fragile pedestrian bridge in China is sagging under the weight of the crowd pressing on it. Alas, this premonition is not false. At some point, the bridge structure really can't stand the weight of pedestrians and collapses right into the water. Fortunately, the incident did not lead to serious injuries, but the people who got into it are still not to be envied. Professional surfers are used to big waves, but sometimes the ocean can be too unpredictable and dangerous. The surfer could not get to the surface, then a lifeguard on a jet ski rushed to his aid, and very timely. A giant wave crashed in a second. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your like and write in the comments which video you liked the most. See you soon. Peace.